Hey, what's up guys? What's up YouTubers? And welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts collection overview video. As you can see in the title, today we're going to go over my Scream Factory collection, and this is going to be a once a year overview. There's a couple reasons why I want to show the collection once a year. The first one is for you guys to give feedback. I always do have a want list, and I know some of these titles, I don't have all of these obviously, there's a lot I'm missing from this collection, but I do have a want list, and I would like to hear from you guys what you think I should get, and I'll see if that's on my list, and if it's not, I'll consider putting that on my list and picking up some of your suggestions. Number two, I like to give you guys suggestions. Maybe you're new to the channel, you haven't seen my collection before, or maybe you have a pretty big collection, but maybe there's one or two you're missing, and you may see it in here, and I may give you some ideas of what you can pick up for your collection. And three, I'm only going to do this once a year because I don't pick up too many Scream Factory titles over the year, and I think it's better to do this once a year to see how much the collection has grown in that time frame. So that's my plan for this, and that's why I've been doing these collection overviews. Not to mention I haven't been picking up many movies lately, and so this is kind of filler for the channel. There's a bit of a glare there, but don't worry about that, we'll fix that. But this is how I have the Scream Factory collection set up. On the top shelf and a little bit into the second shelf, those are the Blu-ray cases that don't have slips, that were never issued with slips. And then getting into the second, third, and a little bit into the fourth shelf, these are the collector's editions with the slipcovers. Then down on the fourth shelf I have a bit of a DVD section, and I have a little bit of a Steelbook section and a couple of box sets there at the end. So let's take a look and see what I got. Get yourself a beverage, get something to snack on. This is going to be another chill video, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so as you can see, this is not one of my bigger collections. It doesn't come close to my Arrow or my Code Red collection, but there's still a decent amount here, and I'm going to kind of take my time to go through these titles. So we'll start here at the top. First one, I do have these alphabetized, and I have the numbers first. So like I say, I'm not perfect. There may be one or two out of order, but for the most part, these are in order. And this is a documentary called 7852, Hitchcock Shower Scene. And it is 78 shots and 52 cuts that changed cinema forever. There are quite a bit of legends there in this documentary. Put out by IFC Midnight under the Scream Factory label. Next one up is called The Angry Red Planet. Very, very low budget sci-fi goodness from the 50s, I believe. 1960 it came out. Pretty decent little monster flick though, or monster movie from the 60s. There's an independent horror film called The Battery. And this is both of these fellows here that starred in the movie also produced and directed the movie. And it's kind of a different take on the zombie genre. Pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it. Here's another low budget horror movie called Beyond the Gates, starring the lovely Barbara Crampton. IFC Midnight put that out. The Beast Within. Pretty good little monster movie. Roger Corman, cult classics, Battle Beyond the Stars. This is it's hard to get that. See, it's nighttime here when I'm recording this video, and I do have the flash on my camera, and I also do have a ceiling light on, because if I have the ceiling light off, it looks even worse. So I'm just gonna have to try to do the best I can here. But 30th anniversary special edition, good movie, very fun to watch. It's a drive-in style movie, popcorn movie. I recommend it. Blood and Lace. Here's another sci-fi, kind of a post-apocalyptic movie. Don Johnson, A Boy and His Dog. I enjoyed it. I like those post-apoc movies, are pretty fun. Now here's another thing too. I keep my Shout Factory and my Scream Factory together in one collection because they are under the same umbrella. And here's one example here. This is a Shout Select movie called Car Wash, starring Richard Pryor and George Carlin. And this is a great movie. I remember renting this out on VHS back in the day, watching that with my dad, and he would always crack up. That's a very good movie. Here's an anthology called Chilling Visions, 5 Senses of Fear. You get 5 short films, 5 groundbreaking visions, 5 reasons to be scared senseless. It was okay. It wasn't as scary as they made it sound on the cover, but here's Crawl Space, Klaus Kinski as the villain. Very creepy. He's a voyeur, and just leave it at that. I don't want to give too many little secrets away of these movies in case you guys haven't seen them. I don't want to give any spoilers. Here's Dark Angel, also called I Come in Peace, I believe. Let me pop this open really quick. Here, go right down to the floor. Oh, actually, this one's sealed. I did have another copy of this. I believe this is also called I Come in Peace. Pretty good, kind of a sci-fi, action, horror themes in it. 80s film. Let's see when that came out. 1990, it says. Seems like I would have thought it was like mid-80s, but I guess not. Here's one called Deadly Eyes. This is about a rat invasion, a deadly rat invasion in New York. I'm sure you guys all heard the story about how this movie was made by now. It was they put little dogs in rat suits, and there's a pretty horrible story that came about the making of this film. One of the dogs suffocated in the suit and passed away, which is horrible. This movie came out in the 80s. Didn't see the date on the back, but I don't like to waste too much time looking for that. Here's a movie called Death Valley. This was the early stages of Scream Factory when they were putting movies out. They didn't put slipcovers on a lot of these movies in the beginning. And it would be pretty cool if they ever went back and started putting slipcovers for these, like Vinegar Syndrome does. Because I think this would be a good, good to have a slipcover on some of these, like Dark Angel, Deadly Eyes. Here's a low buck slasher film called Demented. It was pretty good. It was okay. Boris Karloff, Die Monster Die. The Final Terror. Backwoods Horror. Another Roger Corman classic, Forbidden World, beautiful cover. Part alien, part human, all nightmare. This is called The Offspring. Also has another title. I keep forgetting the titles. From a Whisper to a Scream. And this one came with a film cell from the movie. And it was also signed on the card by the director, Jeff Burr. So that's a pretty cool little set. It's a Vincent Price anthology. I think there's there's 4 tales on here. Pretty good. It's not very much talked about. Here's one called the Funhouse Massacre. This is kind of new age horror that's been made like in the last 10-15 years. Another Roger Corman cult classic called Galaxy of Terror. He was really in a groove during this period when he was making a lot of sci-fi horror movies, drive-in style movies, and making these beautiful covers to advertise and sell to the fans. And it works because that's beautiful art right there. Here's a animated adult cartoon called Heavy Traffic. You get some very serious adult situations in there and cursing. Here is the Horror Show, which is one of the House movies somehow or other. I believe that is House 3 or it could be 4, I don't remember. How, I don't know, but that's true. Here's one called The House That Screamed. Here's a fun little splatter flick called The Incredible Melting Man. Sci-fi horror. Very good practical effects for such a low budget movie. Here's one called The Island, another good movie. I recommend this one. All kinds of terror is on that island. The Legend of Hell House. Message from Space. I believe this was one of the movies that were limited to 1,000. I don't know if it says on the back. But a couple of years ago, let me see here, 2016, so about almost going on 6 years ago, there were 4 movies that Scream Factory released that were limited to 1,000, and this was one of them. I'll try to remember the other ones as I come to them. Here is The Mummy's Shroud. I picked this one up over the past year, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, so. Here's one called The Nest, Killer Bugs. Pretty good slasher. I switched that cover out and put it in black. It looks pretty good, I think, in my opinion. And it's a good little holiday type horror movie, which I like, the holiday themed horror movies. There aren't too many for New Year's Day, so glad to have that one. Night of the Lepus, you got it. Killer Rabbits. Very low budget. Night of the Seagulls, which is part of the Blind Dead collection. I believe that one is part 4 of 4. I could be wrong about that. At some point they were supposed to release the other 3 to have the quadrilogy, I guess. But I haven't heard anything about that, and I haven't really kept up with it either, so. Here's Ninja 3, The Domination. This was the first time they released Ninja 3. They have also since re-released it, and I believe the second releasing had a slipcover. Other than that, I don't know why they re-released it. There's probably a reason, maybe special features or something. I don't know. Again, I didn't research into that. Here is a Werner Herzog film, Klaus Kinski. Those two guys did a lot of work together. This is Nosferatu, the Vampire. The remake. There's another Roger Corman classic called Piranha. See, these would look great with slipcovers, I think. And maybe Scream Factory someday will release it. Here's another Shout Select called The Plague Dogs. This is another cartoon, but it's definitely more geared towards adults because it does have some very violent themes and some very unpleasantries. We'll just leave it at that. Here's Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings. Love those movies. Here's Q, the Winged Serpent. Killer dinosaur or dragon or whatever you want to call it, wreaking havoc in New York City. Here's a cannibal movie called Ravenous, kind of a Western. If I remember right, I saw this one years ago. I believe it had kind of a Western theme to it. Here's Saturday the 14th. Another Roger Corman movie. This one's called Star Crash. You got it, featuring David Hasselhoff in one of his first starring roles. So you know right there it's gold. It's a 2-disc special edition with massive extras, deleted scenes, interviews. The lovely Caroline Munro is in there. She's beautiful. Why is this upside down? What the hell's going on with that? Swamp Thing. Comic book adaptation movie. I remember watching this one as a kid and I really enjoyed it. And it still holds up. I still enjoy the movie today. Adrienne Barbeau is in here. I believe there's a topless scene of her in this movie. This one's called The Devil Rides Out. This is also a newer one over the past year or so, and I still have yet to watch that one. Here's one that I had a bootleg DVD for the longest time because this never had an official release until Scream Factory put it out. And they put it out on a Blu-ray DVD combo, so they really did a great job with this movie. I was really happy to see that they put this out. I still do have the bootleg DVD because I have a hard time letting things go in my collection, but for a long time that was the only way I got to see this movie. It was a pretty clean rip from a VHS transfer. So now we have a beautiful Blu-ray DVD combo, and it looks really good. Plus, this also comes with a bonus feature called The Evictors on DVD. So this is a really, really nice addition, and it's groundbreaking. Glad that finally had a perfect, decent release. This came out in, let's see, well, the movie itself came out in '77, and Scream Factory put it out on Blu-ray 2013. Here's another one of those movies that they were limited to 1,000. One of the 4 I was talking about earlier. It's called Time Walker. Here's another one, I believe. This was the 3rd one of the 4 that was limited to 1,000. This one's called Up from the Depths. The Vampire Lovers. I put that one on and I could not get into it. I think it was because I was really tired that day, but I'm going to have to give that a rewatch, or another shot, I should say. This one's called The Velvet Vampire. Without Warning, another backwoods. This is kind of an alien backwoods horror movie. Very good, actually, pretty good. Now, we're going to start getting into the double features, which I really like. There are quite a few that I'm missing, and the ones that I'm missing are very, very expensive. I do have one that's not on this shelf because it's going to be in my latest pickups video, and I don't want to put it into the collection until I show it in a collection update video. So I kind of put these in alphabetical order based on the title of the first movie of the twin packs, so I didn't know how else to do it. First one is called Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. I really love these twin packs. They're very, very good. Next one's called The Beast of Hollow Mountain and The Neanderthal Man. Blackula and Scream Blackula. Scream. The Black Prince of the Shadows. Cellar Dweller and Catacombs. Really good double bill. The Curse and Curse 2. I just watched The Curse about a couple weeks ago. It was pretty good. I have yet to see The Curse 2. I have seen The Curse. I saw The Curse before, prior to this, though. I have never seen The Curse 2. Here is the last, I believe, of the 4 that I was talking about that were limited to 1,000. And that is Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2. And we have Destroyer and Edge of Sanity. Empire of the Ants and Jaws of Satan. The Food of the Gods and Frogs. Ghost House and Witchery. Pretty good movies too. That's a nice twin pack right there. Now these are pretty silly. I only bought these just to kind of complete these twin packs. Otherwise, I really don't have any interest in these two movies here. Love at First Bite and Once Bitten. These are more kind of romantic comedy, like with little tiny bit of horror, mostly comedy. Not really my thing, but I just wanted to kind of complete this collection, which I don't think I ever will be able to collect these twin packs because some of them are so expensive I just don't even feel like buying them. Takes the fun out of it. Here you got Metamorphosis and Beyond Darkness. So that is the end of shelf 1. We're doing pretty good on time. It's less than 20 minutes for the shelf 1. Got about 3 shelves left pretty much. So let's continue to shelf 2. Okay, so moving right along here, we continue with the twin packs, and then we'll get into slipcovers. First one's called Millennium and ROTOR, Rotor. Here's another one that's pretty silly, and like I said, I probably wouldn't have paid for this unless it was part of the twin packs double features for Screen Factory. It's called Munchies and Munchie. Looks like something that Troma would put out. Murders in the Rue Morgue and the Dunwich Horror. Naked Vengeance and Vendetta. The Night of the Sorcerers and the Lorelei's Grasp. The Outing and the Godsend. I really hope they continue to do twin packs, and I hope they don't start putting slipcovers on the twin packs, because they haven't had a slipcover so far on the twin packs, and I would hate to see them start now. It would look really weird on the shelves, I think. We have Scanners 2, the New Order, and Scanners 3, the Takeover. Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror. Really good double bill. Here is Tentacles and Reptilicus. Very low budget, very fun movies. I enjoyed them. Here's another really good double bill. You got Terror Vision and the Video Dead. Here's Troll 2, and you also get the documentary called Best Worst Movie on DVD. So that's a really nice set right there. And the last of the twin packs here is X-Ray and Schizoid. Now we're going to be getting into the slipcovers. I do have to get bags for these eventually, because I want to make sure I take care of the slipcovers. And these are a little bit thinner than your basic Arrow Video and even Vinegar Syndrome. So if you put these in the plastic cases that I get, they're a little bit loose and they kind of flop around in there. So I need to find something a little bit better than that. But again, we're going from numbers and then A, B, etc. So we have Charles Bronson in 10 to Midnight. Chuck Bronson is chasing a serial killer. Good movie. I enjoyed it. It looks really good on Blu-ray. Army of Darkness. Another classic. They really went to comedy in that franchise, though. I really enjoyed the first Evil Dead. I thought it was like a really good straight horror movie, And then they really started going downhill, I think, with 2 and 3, and when they started to make it really comedy and slapstick. And anyway, this was a really good movie too, Assault on Precinct 13. This was a great movie. It's not a horror movie, but it's very suspenseful. There's a lot of action in this movie. Kind of like on the edge of your seat type action. This one was very good. I didn't know anything about it going into it, and I watched it, and it was very surprising, pleasantly surprising. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Very creepy scenes in there. This one was a little bit overhyped, on the other hand. This is called The Babadook, and everybody jumped on this one when it first came out and said it was the next best thing, and I went into it thinking that, and I was left not very impressed. It was okay, but not great. Far from great. This one was pretty good. Another one I went into with not much knowledge of the movie, watched it. It's supposed to be based on a true story. There's quite a bit that's different in the movie, though, from the reading I've done on it. Another very suspenseful movie. This couple is hiking through the woods and camping, and they're stalked by this killer bear, grizzly bear. Very, very frightening. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I enjoy the movie. I know this has kind of a split reaction from fans. Some people hate it, some people love it. I'm on the side that really enjoy it. So here's Black Christmas, Canadian horror movie. This one has not been opened, but I do have this movie on Blu-ray several different times. I happen to love this movie quite a bit, and I watch it every Christmas season. John Carpenter's Body Bags, another anthology, horror anthology, very good. Some are better than others, but it's still very good. Very good backwoods slasher, The Burning, starring Cropsey. Very, very good movie. Some clever kills, practical effects, very, very good. Candyman, another great movie. Tony Todd, classic, love it. Here's Carrie. Cat People. I don't really care much for this movie. Child's Play. And another cover of Child's Play. This is the Good Guys box. Class of 1984. Dark Man. Dawn of the Dead remake. I really enjoy it. The movie takes place in Wisconsin, the state I live in. Here's the original, Day of the Dead. There's good old Bub. Great movie. Deadly Blessing. Another great movie. I think this is very fun. Sharon Stone's in it, Michael Berryman. This is a Wes Craven movie. Ernest Borgnine there, he plays kind of a cult leader type father. And there's Sharon Stone, believe it or not. It doesn't really look like her, but she was very, very nice to look at in the movie. And of course, Michael Berryman's always kind of a creepy villain type. And I mean that with the most respect. I think he's a great actor. Dead Shadows. I don't remember if I watched this one or not. I don't think I have. It looks like an apocalypse movie. It's got a couple bloody bats. If there are any here that you guys would like to comment about, you can always do that at the bottom comment section. Here's Dead Souls, a chiller movie. I didn't really care much for this movie, I'm sorry. Dog Soldiers was a great movie. I liked what they did with the werewolves in this movie. Stuart Gordon, oops, jeez. Stuart Gordon's Dolls. Pretty fun movie. This was a creepy movie. Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell. Very, very creepy. I've seen it before, and I saw it again recently, and it still creeped me out. There's one particular scene that really grosses me out. Like I have to literally turn my head when it comes on. Escape from New York, Snake Plissken, excellent movies. I really like these movies. Fender Bender. It's about a stalker, serial killer stalker. Here's Stephen King's Firestarter. Classic here. One of my favorites of all time. Going back to my youth, this is John Carpenter's The Fog. Excellent movie. Brian Usna's From Beyond. Oh, Brian Usna, right? Let me double check that so I'm not giving you guys the wrong information. Yep, Brian Usna. Based on the H.P. Lovecraft story, starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. Ken Foray. Very good movie. I really enjoy that. It's a very, very fun movie. The Funhouse. Tobe Hooper. Another fun one. Creepy horror movie. Here's Halloween 2. The very first Scream Factory Blu-ray release. Halloween 2. Halloween 3. Season of the Witch. Hell Night, another fun one. College kids have to spend the night in a haunted mansion on a dare. Very good. Here is The Howling. Here's In the Mouth of Madness, another really creepy movie. Very, very fun watch. I think Sam Neill nailed it in this one. He was great. Sam Neill is usually pretty good in everything he does, I think. Here's Jeepers Creepers. I love these movies. Even 3. 3 was the weakest of the trilogy so far, but I still like 3. Here's Jeepers Creepers 2. Here is the Larry Fessenden collection. This one is autographed by Mr. Fessenden there in the bottom left corner. Gold Sharpie. Here's Life Force. Outer space horror movie. Matilda May. You guys all know that movie by now. Here's Lake Placid. And God bless the late Betty White, who has some great lines in this movie. One of the best lines ever in film history she has when she turns to the sheriff and she said, "This is the part where if I had a dick, I'd tell you to suck it." Yes, Betty White said that. And she had a great role in this movie, and we're all going to miss Betty White. There she is right there. She was feeding livestock to this rogue alligator in her yard. Very good movie, by the way. I'm going to pop that in. I really miss Betty White. I've been having a hard time with that. Here's Romero's Land of the Dead. Pretty decent entry into the Dead series. Here is Lord of Illusions. Here's Mad Max. Doesn't seem to really fit the Scream Factory movies, but hey, it's a great movie. It's a very fun, low-budget movie when Mad Max, Mel Gibson gets his start. And who doesn't like Mel Gibson? I mean, he's a great actor. And the last one for Shelf 2 is another Chiller Films movie called The Monkey's Paw. And it was just okay. Like a 4, maybe 5 out of 10. So that is Shelf 2. We still have About 2 shelves to go, so let's keep rolling. Shelf 3, we are still into the slipcovers. And the first one here is another childhood favorite called Motel Hell. To me, this would be a good twin billing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. They both have that same kind of dark comedy, and they both have themes of cannibalism, and they're both pretty creepy in certain spots. So that would be a good twin billing, Motel Hell and TCM 2. Then we have this nice box set called Nightbreed, the Director's Cut Limited Edition. A really, really nice edition. I think this was limited to 10,000. I was going to say 5, but there's the sticker right there. I got 1,179 out of 10K. And you get the theatrical cut and director's cut and a nice book inside there too. It's a really weird movie, but it's still fun. It's kind of a popcorn movie. Clive Barker. Here's Night of the Comet. A couple of Valley girls try to survive a kind of an apocalypse after a comet strike. Kills a lot of people and turns other people into flesh eaters. Kevin Tenney's Night of the Demons. Good movie. Here is the Paul Naschy collection. This is volume 1, and you get Horror Rises from the Tomb, Vengeance of the Zombies, Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll, Human Beasts, Night of the Werewolf. Also includes a 24-page book. And followed up by the Paul Naschy Collection 2. You get Hunchback of the Morgue, a dragonfly for each corpse, and the Devil Possessed, Exorcism, and the Werewolf and the Yeti, and also does come with a 24-page book. Really good stuff there. You get Phantasm 2. Angus Scrimm, who played the Tall Man, was probably one of the scariest villains to me in the history of horror films. But from all accounts, I never got to meet the man, and he has since passed away. But from all accounts and people who have met him at conventions and said he was like a sweet man, a really nice person. So he must have been a great actor because he sure looked menacing and scary. Here's Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. A creepy film. Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise. Paul Williams is in here, right? Yeah, right there. John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. You can see, you guys can recognize that face right there. That is Alice Cooper, the Alice Cooper. This one's called Prison, starring a very young Viggo Mortensen, but a haunted prison. Pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Psycho 2, 22 years after the original, and then Psycho 3. And I really enjoyed 2 and 3. I thought they were great movies. Here's Pumpkinhead. The only reason it wasn't up on the top shelf by Pumpkinhead 2 is because this one has a slipcover, so I keep all the slips together. But here is Pumpkinhead 2 side by side, and Pumpkinhead 2 was never released with a slipcover. Sadly, I don't know why, because it would have been a great slipcover. Here's David Cronenberg's Rabid. And I just noticed something. I don't know why. This is over here. I got a bunch of these out of order. I just noticed it. There's the remake by the Saska sisters, Rabid. So yeah, I just noticed that I have a bunch of these out of order. And I'm going to pause it here for a minute. It's going to be too late to go back. I grabbed a handful that were sitting on a shelf that I didn't have room for at one time. I'm just going to keep going because I don't want to go back and redo this. You guys are going to have to deal with a few at the end here that are out of order. But here is one cover of The Return of the Living Dead. And they also released it at the same time with another cover. And they're both pretty awesome. I did have the posters at one time, but I sold those just because I don't have a lot of room anymore for posters. I do have a lot of posters in my house already, and I don't have room for more. So, great movie too, by the way. Really, really fun movie. And here is Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Another good one. There's some comedy in there. Here's Shocker, Wes Craven. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1. And Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Fun movies. I really do enjoy especially the Christmas slashers, but I like all of the holiday themed horror movies. We got Sleepaway Camp 1. Slipaway Camp 2. Hold on, I'll get these all three set up here. These were very early releases in the Scream Factory catalog. So we have, I'm trying to get a good angle here to reflect that light away. Slipaway Camp 1, 2, and 3. And they got worse as they went down the line. So part 1 was good, part 2 was okay, and part 3, they started to get silly. But it's the trilogy, Slipaway Camp trilogy. Then we have The Strangers. Good home invasion movie, very creepy. There's a good kind of a monster movie, Squirm, killer night crawlers. Pretty good practical effects in there. Let's see if we have any. Yeah, you can see that. It's a pretty fun movie. A couple of the Tales from the Crypt movies. We have Bordello of Blood. Yes, Dennis Miller's in it. And Demon Knight. A couple of guys who are known to play kind of bad guys or tough guys, Billy Zane and William Sadler in Demon Knight. Tales from the Hood. I've seen this movie a couple of times. It's I think on its best day it's a middle of the road 5 out of 10 to me. I know some people love it. Terror Train, this was a pretty fun movie. It's kind of unique because the killer changes costumes several times throughout the movie, and you never really know who it is. It was very well done, and of course Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen herself, stars in the movie. Here's Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Very fun movie, I love it. And here is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, The Next Generation. That one has grown on me over the years, The Next Generation. I remember watching it at first and I thought it sucked. And I have given it more than a couple of viewings since, and it's grown on me. Is it great? No, it's far from great. It doesn't even come close to part 1 or 2 or even 3. But it's fun, and I do like it. Here's They Live, John Carpenter, another great movie, a cult classic now. The late Roddy Piper. Here's a couple of covers of The Thing. John Carpenter, you get a couple different covers that Scream Factory released. And I don't have to tell you guys anything about The Thing. It's a great movie. Another little anthology, Trick or Treat. This one has become a cult favorite. It was kind of an instant cult classic almost. I mean, everybody seemed like they love it. they loved it as soon as it first came out. And each year more and more people are learning about it, so it's a good movie. Here's a Valentine. Alright, so now, this is kind of where I made a mistake. After these, I have a couple of Vincent Price box sets and Wormwood, and then I forgot to alphabetize these. First one is called the Vincent Price Collection. It's a 4 Blu-ray set. It has 6 movies. The Pit and the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death, The Haunted Palace, Fall of the House of Usher, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, Witchfinder General, aka The Conqueror Worm, and a 24-page book. Beautiful set. I love it. And we have the Vincent Price Collection 2. 4 Blu-ray set. 7 movies. The Raven, The Comedy of Terrors, The Tomb of Ligeia, The Last Man on Earth, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, The Return of the Fly, The House on Haunted Hill, and this time you get a 32-page book. And finally, the Vincent Price Collection, Volume 3. It's a 4 Blu-ray set. You get 5 movies. Master of the World, Tower of London, Diary of a Madman, An Evening of Edgar Allan Poe, and Cry of the Banshee. And this time you get a 12-page book with rare photos. So that's what the 3 Vincent Price box sets look like. Very, very nice. Glad to have these. Vincent Price was a genius, a great actor. He had such presence on stage, great delivery, great voice, everything. He was a great actor. Here's Wormwood. I had fun with this one. It's kind of wacky. It's different, and that's what I liked about it. Road of the Dead. There's a lot of violence. It says Mad Max meets Dawn of the Dead, and it does have both of those themes mixed together, but it's nowhere near like a Mad Max or Dawn of the Dead. So, but it does have those two kind of genres mixed together in this movie, and it is very low budget, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Now here's where things got kind of screwed up. I don't know how or why. I think I was in a hurry doing this, but we have the Brides of Dracula. Should be up in the B's. Cockneys versus Zombies. It's a comedy horror, very close to like Shaun of the Dead. There's a lot of British humor, and I really got some good laughs out of this. It was a good movie. I recommend it. 13 Ghosts. I saw this years ago at the theater. I've owned this on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and I really enjoy it. This is a movie, I've mentioned this before in my videos, but I thought they could have really done something with this as far as like a franchise, because the way that they set this movie up and how they kind of introduced different ghosts in the movies, and you know, each of these ghosts had a backstory. I thought they could have ran with that and made at least a couple more movies out of it, and kind of delve into the characters, the backstories of some of these ghosts and who these people were. I thought it could have been done pretty well, but there's probably no chance that will ever happen. But here's Peter Cushing in Frankenstein Created Woman. It's a great cover. Peter Cushing was always a very good actor. Always fun to watch his movies. Here's The Entity. Here's Relic. Here's Ghost Ship. I also saw this in the theater years ago. That opening scene is unbelievable. It's fantastic. The movie itself is pretty good. It's not great, but it's a fun watch. Here's the original My Bloody Valentine, a very good slasher movie. I love the movie because it takes place in a cavern, a mine shaft type deal, and you don't really see too many movies like that, so it was really creepy. Here is another Cushing, The Evil of Frankenstein. These covers are outstanding. And there's one more on this shelf, and that is Exorcism 2, The Heretic. So that is it for shelf 3. We will continue on to the 4th and final shelf, and it's not quite a full shelf. Okay, so I have a couple more like slip boxes, and I got a little stack here of DVDs and some Steelbooks and a couple of box sets. That's it. The video will be over. Let me slide this down. So the first one, again, these are out of order. Isn't that something? I just put them in backwards, that's all. Hold on. No biggie, no big deal. All right. So we have Halloween 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray, and I popped this in about a month ago, or maybe a little bit longer than that, and it looked pretty good. But I have to admit, you guys tell me how you feel about 4K compared to Blu-ray. I have a hard time deciphering the two. Like, I can't tell the difference between 4K and Blu-ray. To me, Blu-ray quality is already very, very good. And if you grew up in the era that I grew up, watching HBO and recording movies on VHS and watching some of these grainy VHS tapes that we would rent, Blu-ray quality blows anything away. So to even go up a little bit higher to 4K, I can't really notice the difference. But you guys tell me how you feel about that. Here's Halloween 2. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Mike. And we'll get into some DVDs here. These are called TV Terrors. You get a double billing here, The Initiation of Sarah and Are You in the House Alone? Pretty nice little set there. Here's a 4-pack called Schizoid, The Vagrant, The Godsend, and The Outing. I already told the story about this probably a million times, but they didn't have I'm just going to keep it brief about it this time. They didn't have the rights to release this Schizoid, so they had to recall this DVD. And this was a few leaked out, so it was very, very few quantity that got out to the public, so this is pretty rare. And they re-released it. Here, I'll put them side by side, it would make more sense. So they re-released Schizoid, or they took Schizoid off and they re-released the DVD with What's the Matter with Helen. The other 3 movies were exactly the same. So this was recalled. This was the edition they went with. Slumber Party Massacre Collection. You get 3 films in 1 DVD set. I really like those movies. Here's another 4-pack. You get the Dungeon Master, Cellar Dweller, Catacombs, and Contamination Point 7. This is called the Mystery Science Theater 3000 presents The Undead, and they roast. This is a Shout Factory movie. I keep it in with my Scream Factory stuff. But the guys, Joel and the guys, roast the movie The Undead. Here's another 4-pack. You get Lady Frankenstein, The Velvet Vampire, Grotesque, and Time Walker. Here's one called Piranha, and it has a 3D lenticular cover. It looks pretty cool, actually. The 3D depth looks really good in person. It probably doesn't pick up very good on my camera phone here, but here's one called Sword and Sorcery Collection. You get Deathstalker, Deathstalker 2, The Warrior and the Sorceress, and Barbarian Queen. Another one that I really enjoy going back to my childhood called Humanoids from the Deep. Another Mystery Science Theater 3000. Zombie Nightmare. Here is The Evil and Twice Dead. Another good double billing there. So now we're going to get into the Steelbooks. I'm missing quite a few of them. Eventually I'll pick some of them up. Some of them are out of print and ridiculous, so I'll probably never get those. But here's Battle Beyond the Stars, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, The Fog. I believe these are all limited to 10,000. Forbidden World, another Roger Corman movie. Galaxy of Terror, Roger Corman. Really nice covers. There's Halloween 2. The Howling. Humanoids from the Deep. Motel Hell. My Bloody Valentine, beautiful, love it. Night of the Demons. Piranha. Pumpkinhead. And the last steelbook is the Slumber Party Massacre. Now, I have a box set here for the It's Alive trilogy. You get It's Alive, It Lives Again, and Island of the Alive. I have the Creepshow box set. Beautiful. One of my favorite movies of all time. And then this is another Shout set, but I keep it with my Scream stuff. This is Herzog, the collection. You get, it's a 13 Blu-ray set. You get 16 films and documentaries. The only thing it's missing that I wish it would have had is the Death Row documentaries that he did. I think he did about 5 or 6 of those, or maybe 6 or 7. They're excellent. You can find those here on YouTube. But you get, I'll go through this really quick. Even Dwarfs started small. Land of Silence and Darkness. Fata Morgana. Agir, The Wrath of God. The Enigma of Caspar Hauser. Heart of Glass. Strozik. Wozik. Nosferatu the Vampire. Fitzcarraldo. Ballad of the Little Soldier. Where the Green Ants Dream. Cobra Verde. Lessons of Darkness. Little Dieter Needs to Fly, and My Best Fiend. And this is a really nice set. I believe you can still get this for a very reasonable price. If you go on, you can see my hands were a little sweaty, but if you go to eBay, you can still get this set for about $100, which is a steal, I think. Because I thought by now this would be like $300-400. If you can get this for about $100 or so, grab it and run with it, because that is a beautiful set. I'll just open it up really quick and show you guys how they house the discs inside. There's a Herzog right there. But it's a very beautiful set. It comes with a nice book in the front. Very nice glossy pages. This is a beauty right here. For $100, this is definitely worth the purchase. For Fitzcarraldo, Nosferatu the Vampire. There's some good movies in here. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed, guys and gals. Hope you enjoyed the collection overview. And if you want to comment and leave suggestions or tell me what are some of your favorite movies, which ones do I need to get, which ones do you plan on getting, I think that'll be it for this video. And I hope you guys have a good night or a good day, whatever time it is you're watching this. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.